I thought silence was a gift, a cloak to wrap myself in after the storm, but I have learned that silence is never empty. It echoes, it scratches at the walls of the mind until even the faintest creak becomes a scream, and in those quiet hours I hear footsteps that are not there, whispers that lean close and breathe my name, Elena, as though the game I ended has begun again in shadows I cannot see. I write because the act of placing ink on paper feels like proof of existence, and yet even here within these words I feel him, the one I destroyed, bleeding through like a stain I cannot scrub clean. His absence louder than his presence ever was, his fall replaying in my head like a scene stuck on repeat, but each time the ending shifts. And sometimes I see his hand clutching mine as he drags me into the dark instead of falling alone, and in those moments I wonder if revenge was justice or if it was merely the beginning of a curse that has now wrapped itself around me. The city outside hums like a beast in slumber, neon bleeding into wet pavement, tires hissing on the slick asphalt. And in those reflections I catch fragments of faces blurred and watching, never whole, never clear, just glimpses at the edge of sight, and I ask myself if they belong to strangers or ghosts, or if perhaps they are my own fears manifesting as figures in the night, for paranoia has become a mirror that always cracks in the same place, showing me what I fear even when I close my eyes. I told myself I had won, that the fire had burned clean and left me free, but freedom is a lie, because at night I still hear the drip of water from pipes in the walls like a metronome counting down to something I cannot name, and sometimes I find doors left ajar when I swear I closed them, objects shifted by an inch or two as if someone touched them when I wasn't looking. And though I tell myself it is exhaustion or imagination, I can feel the breath of another presence, the weight of unseen eyes watching from the corners I do not dare to face. The letters began a week after the silence became unbearable, thin slips of paper pushed beneath my door with no return address. No handwriting I recognized, only words clipped like a blade's edge, words that said nothing and everything at once, phrases like "you missed something," "the game is not yours alone," "he is not gone," and I would tear them up, burn them, scatter the ashes. But the next night another would appear, and each one gnawed at me until even the rhythm of my heartbeat felt like a coded message I could not decipher. I dream in fragments, and in those dreams he speaks without a mouth, his eyes hollow yet burning, and he tells me that revenge is a circle, a wheel that turns back upon its maker, and when I wake the air tastes of smoke though no fire burns. My sheets smell faintly of his cologne though the bottle I kept lies shattered in the trash, and I know it cannot be real, and yet the scent lingers as though memory itself has found a way to weaponize against me. The world outside still functions, people laugh in cafes, buses sigh along their routes, lovers fight and make up beneath street lamps. But I walk among them as a ghost, unseen yet hyper-aware, convinced that at any moment a hand will close around my wrist, dragging me back into a past I thought I had buried, and though no one notices me, I notice everything, the way strangers glance too long, the way reflections do not always move as they should. And sometimes I think the city conspires with him, that its alleys and shadows are his messengers carrying whispers meant only for me. I write because writing is survival, a way to trap the chaos before it consumes me, but each page becomes a labyrinth where I chase answers that vanish around corners, and though I tell myself I am the hunter, I feel the edges of prey tightening around me. Because somewhere, someone has studied me as I once studied him, has learned the rhythm of my thoughts, the vulnerabilities in my armor, and I fear the mirror is no longer mine, that the game is no longer mine, that perhaps it never was, and that thought chills me deeper than any shadow. The whispers tell me to stop, to close this diary, to accept that silence is safer than confession. But I cannot, because if I stop the silence will roar louder, it will devour what little grip I still have, and so I write to resist, to anchor myself, to claw at the walls of a darkness that tightens with every breath, and yet as I place these words on the page I wonder if they are truly mine. Or if he, or they, or whoever moves against me, has already placed them in my head, guiding my hand as though I am no longer author but instrument. And if that is true, if my revenge has spiraled into a game I no longer command, then perhaps these words are not confession but warning, perhaps you who read them are already marked as I am. Perhaps the circle has widened, the wheel turned outward, and if so, then know this, revenge does not end with blood, it ends with silence, and silence, once broken, never truly heals, it only waits, it only hides, it only gathers strength for the moment it will strike again, and I fear that moment is closer than I dare to admit.